All right, I think we can go ahead and start, Rayhan.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was about to begin. Okay, this meeting's probably hopefully gonna be pretty short because I know we're all pretty busy. And we're basically just gonna cover the competitions. And so this PowerPoint slide wasn't made by me. It was made by like the actual FBLA organization. And the way it's structured is like you click on like emojis and stuff and it redirects you to create like what event is perfect for you, but we're not gonna do that obviously. So we're just gonna look at like big event categories. And so like this is kind of what I meant about the emoji thing. We're just gonna skip these slides. And so like here are some categories. These are just throwing out big categories and like read the slides as it goes on, but like I'm not gonna read everything out. So there's community service projects. These are, remember, these are all the events, which is like the primary goal of our organization. So these are the events that'll be in the spring, probably virtual as of now, even though normally like each year they'd be in person. So one big like event category is community service projects. Another big one is like website design. And so all of these have like sub events in them. So in community service projects, there'll be multiple different events. In website design, there'll be like many different events under these categories, but these are just throwing out the big categories. And at the end, I'll show you how to find like this stuff kind of for yourself too. So here's another category, is like digital media. And then if you have questions, feel free to like drop them in the chat. I think me and Raman can answer them, and I'll show you at the end how to like see the individual events. Cool. So these are just some more events. There's like job interviews, mock job interviews. There's like executive business events for people that are interested in that. There's also like planning events where you plan like small businesses, there are also like pitch events as well. There's lots of like entrepreneurship related events. So these are tests. Tests are a pretty big category. I would say like half or like 1/3 of the events are tests. And so tests basically just literally test you over your knowledge. So if you know a lot about like finance, you could take a finance test. If you know a lot about accounting, you can take an accounting test. You know a lot about like, there's some math tests, like marketing tests, whatever it is. And then there are also study materials also, which I'll show you again how to access at the end. But these are just some of the potential events. So basically what you're supposed to be doing is just start reading these things, start thinking about what you might be interested in. And then at the end, I'll show you how to locate, once you know your general interest, how to locate like what specific event you want to do. Because we probably won't be meeting for the rest of like this year, as in like this semester. So it would be good if you guys know what events you want to do starting next semester. That way we can get you guys signed up. Okay, so here are some more. They're like events that have to do with sustainability, ethics. They're pretty broad. There's like 300 events or 200 events, something like that. And so pretty much any conceivable category, there is some event like probably for you. So again, and I'm gonna send out the link to this presentation. So if you really want to go through and actually click on the emojis, you could do it. But here are the presentation events, like public speaking, sales presentations, business presentations, like just presenting in front of like judges, business plans, stuff like that. Here are some of the events here. There's also like social media events, marketing events. So for like, if you're a hypothetical, like a marketing major, you'd probably want to do something related to your interests and to your strengths. There's like client help desk events, like customer calling, stuff like that. There's also, as I mentioned, public speaking, so impromptu and stuff like that. Then there are also a lot of team events. So here's like an example of a team event. There's like desktop computer events. Again, we're just going through like some big categories: business communication, like administration, stuff like that. All of these are like the objective tests, kind of like how I mentioned before. They're like probably going to be online, so online tests, like literally like multiple choice stuff like that. There's cybersecurity, networking, there's also sports, which I just skipped over. There's like sports events too, so if that's what you're interested, feel free to like look into that. There's also some law events, so like justice administration is one of them, one of the categories. There's like business ethics, stuff like that. These are the sport. Okay, cool. So hold on, let me escape. Okay, you guys should still be able to see my screen, hopefully. I'm just gonna real quick get this link and show you guys how to find your own. So I'm gonna send this link out in the chat and I'll send it out in the group me and we'll send it over email too. But basically what you wanna do is to find which event you wanna do, you wanna go into this link, and there are two important things from here. And so the first one, I believe, is, let's go with the event guidelines first. So you'll click on this header. So it literally just says like complete competitive event guidelines. And this is once you go to the website. It's really just a general website, but we'll send a link to it, so don't worry about that. And when you open it, this goes kind of more into detail about the exact specific event. So as you can see here, these are all like the tests. And then these are like all the interview events. These are all the speech events, whatever it is. And then as you go down, it'll show you like rubrics. It'll show you like what you need to do. So for example, here's an event name, and here's like the categories that you would study for this event. It's a test event. And just like that, this is 30 pages, and it'll show you like the exact guidelines. So here you have it, like there's a 1 hour, this is a 1 hour test. This is what's on the test. This is more specific what's on the test. And then in this same document, there'll be like rubrics and stuff down here. So we're not going to go through everything because like most of you guys are smart enough to figure it out, I feel like. But this just has like general guidelines for events. And then the second important thing on this thing, so the first thing we talked about on this website is just clicking on this header that's competitive event guidelines for 2020. And the second thing I believe is the rating sheets. And yes, okay, so the rating sheets, okay, so sorry, this first document is the guidelines for each event, and the rating sheets is literally just the rubrics. So knowing the rubrics is good because if you know how you're being judged, then like you can do well. And oh yes, that's the rubrics. So that's the rating sheets. Rating sheets is the rubrics. It's under the guidelines, and then the event guidelines is like the general guidelines. And then the last thing is the task list. So the task list here is, again, we're not going to like sort through, but basically they have all the resources you need to study for tests. So for example, if I clicked on the PBL accounting one, let's say you loved accounting, you want to do an accounting test, you would click on this document and it would take you to like, there's a list of like textbooks, there's a list of resources that you need for the event. And just like that, they have each event that requires that type of preparation. You'll know from it once you read the guideline. So again, the order I would do it in is I would probably check this page first. So that's the competitive event guidelines, which would be the top of the website here, what my cursor is kind of on right now. And then I would look at, depending on your event, I'd either look at the rating sheets, which is a rubric. So if you're doing a speech event and there's no like task lists for that, then you look at the rating sheets. And then if there is, like if you're doing a test, probably you want to look at the task list, which basically give you like textbooks, Quizlets, stuff like that, like resources to use. Any questions so far? Raman, is there anything I missed?
Yeah, I don't think you missed anything. I think it's been pretty comprehensive. I just want to add in that, like, I know that Rayhan's giving you guys a lot of information, so I'll be sending it out on the group me and in an email. So don't have to memorize or like take notes or anything crazy like that.
Okay, cool. So this is the important website. I'm gonna send the link right now in the chat. But also I want to emphasize that the main takeaway from this meeting is know what event, or be very close to knowing what event you want to do by the next time we meet, which will probably be January, I'm guessing. But so keep it in your mind. Like you don't have to study or anything like over winter break. Just choose an event, especially because I'm assuming most of you guys want to compete and get like some kind of award or something. So choose your event, and this is how you choose your event essentially. Any questions? I feel like that was pretty self-explanatory, but here. I sent the website in the chat. Cool. Is that everything?
Yeah, I think the main thing was just getting through the competitive events and making sure everyone's aware of what's going on.
Yeah, we have a couple like charity events like the March of Dimes thing, but we'll send information on that. We don't want to like talk about that right now, especially because, you know, I know most of y'all are busy. We're pretty busy too. So,
Yeah, sorry.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, you'll send that information out. Yeah, cool. So if no one has any questions, that is everything. I'll hang around for a couple of minutes, but that's literally like everything. We just want to go over events and make sure you know what you're doing.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Thank you.